This problem involves finding the digits ABCD of a 4-digit number such that when a number ABCD is multiplied by 4, the digits get reversed, so we get DCBA. Also, the digits are all distinct, meaning A, B, C, D are all different. Let's look at the leading digit A first. A times 4 results in D, but notice that there is no carry out here. In other words, there is no fifth digit in the result. So the possibilities for A are a 0 or a 1, or A could be a 2, but A can't be 3 or more, because the moment you have something greater than or equal to 3 for A, there will be a carry output and a fifth digit, which is not the case. If we look at the last column here to determine which values of A make sense, let's try A equal to 1. D times 4 in that case would be of the form some carry followed by a 1, which means that D times 4 is odd. D times 4 clearly is an even number, so this leads to a contradiction. D times 4 cannot be odd clearly. So A being 1 is not a possibility. Let's try A being 0. One possibility is D is 0, because 0 times 4 will result in A being 0. However, this implies that A and D are both 0, which is also not possible because the problem tells us that all digits are distinct. So D being 0 is not a possibility. However, we can also get a 0 for A if D is a 5. So let's look at what kind of a result that can lead to. Since A is 0, the number becomes BCD, a 3-digit number, which gets multiplied by 4. This results in 5CB0. This is also not possible. Let's look at why. This is a 3-digit number. The maximum possible value of the 3-digit number could be 999, which is less than 1000, which means that when the 3-digit number is multiplied by 4, we'll get something less than 4000. This is also a contradiction because the leading digit in the result needs to be 5, which is greater than 4. So this means that D being 5 is also not a possibility, and we have eliminated all possibilities for A being 0. So the only possibility remaining for A now is A being 2. Now that we know A, let's rewrite the problem using the known digits. 2BCD times 4 results in 2BCD in reverse order, so DCB2. Let's look at the last column here. D times 4 results in 2 and some possible carry. I'm going to call that Q. The last digit here will be a 2. So let's look at what possibilities for D lead to a 2. There's only 2 possibilities. Either D is 3, so 4 times 3 is 12, or D is 8, 4 times 8 is 32. Now if we look at the other operation involving D, 4 times 2 leads to D. Let's try both possibilities for D here. Clearly D equal to 8 works because 4 times 2 is 8. Let's try D being 3. The only way to get from 4 times 2, 8 to a 3 for D would be having a carry of 5. Plus 5 gives 13. But here's the problem now, because we have a carry out, which means there is a fifth digit. So clearly D being 3 is not possible. The only possibility remaining for D is 8. I'm going to rewrite using the known digits. 2BC8 times 4 gives us, in reverse order, 2B, C and 8. Let's look at B here now. Eight times 4 is 32. 2 there and a 3 carry over. Now to get to B, the operation is C times 4 plus 3 equals B, plus some carryover, which I'm going to call R. The first part here is clearly even, C times 4. The second part is odd. Even plus odd has to be odd. That implies that B has to be odd. Now let's look at the other operation involving B here. We are doing 4 times B plus R leads to C with some carry possibility. But we know that the carry here has to be 0 because 4 times 2 is 8. If there were any carry, this would not be 8, or there would be a carry out. So that tells us there's no carry here, which means that 4 times B plus R has to be less than 10. Let's look at which possibilities for B can lead to that. B could be 0 or 1 or 2, but not more than that, because if it's 3 or more, we get 12 or more. The carry would not be a 0. Also, 2 has already been assigned to A, so 2 is not a possibility. The only possible choices are B is 0 or 1. However, we already established that B has to be odd. So that implies the only remaining possibility for B is a 1. Okay, let's find the last remaining digit. Let me rewrite using the known digits so far. 2, 1, C, 8 times 4 gives us 2, 1, C, 8 in reverse order. C is the only remaining digit now. Let's look at this last column. 8 times 4 is 32, 2 with a carry of 3. The next operation is C times 4 plus 3 results in a 1 with some carry. I'm going to call it S. Now 4 times 1 plus S leads to a C. And we already know there is no carry out of that. From the first equation here, C times 4 plus 3 results in a bottom digit of 1. This means that C times 4 has to end in a 8. One possibility is C is 2, but A is already 2, so this is not possible. The other possibility is C is 7. Let's see if that works out. 7 times 4 plus 3 will give us 28 plus 3 or 31. And that means S is 3. And 4 plus 3 would give us 7, which is what we started off with C. So C being 7 works out. So we found the last digit. C is 7. Let's see if our solution checks out. The solution was 2, 1, 7, 8 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 7 is 28 plus 3, 31. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3, 7. 4 times 2 is 8. So the solution does check out.